My name is Michael DeLu. Today is Monday, January 9th. I'm live from Los Angeles, California. This is episode 113 of Pull Up the Tape. I repeat, 113 of Pull Up the Tape, and the first episode of Pull Up the Tape in 2023. All right. I'm really excited because, man, it's been months since I recorded an actual podcast episode. So I'm really finna pop my shit today. Like, I'm really finna pop my shit today. Before I get into today's episode, I actually want to give a random shout out to YouTube. I don't know why, but randomly my last Laker reaction video, my reaction to the Lakers winning their 5th game in a row against the Sacramento Kings is doing pretty good. I mean, honestly, for considering that I'm not the most consistent on my channel, which is going to change this year, I think it's doing pretty good. And it's just a little inspiring and just like kind of one of those things that, lets me know, like, I want to keep this consistent flow going, keep it coming, keep getting better at every single thing I'm doing, which I am. I got a lot of things, I got a lot of things cooking behind the scenes. When I say cooking, I mean I chef, I cook. All right, but with that being said, let's get into today's episode. The first thing I want to talk about is Gervontae Tank Davis and the amazing performance that he put out on Saturday night on the 7th in Washington, D.C., if I'm not mistaken, against Hector Luis Garcia. And there's some things that I want to talk about in terms of this event and specifically his performance, because this is a really big, a very big step for Tank, as it's his first event not under Mayweather Promotions. He's no longer, I guess he's no longer doing business with Floyd Mayweather and Mayweather Promotions. But in the fight, Tank showed himself to be a legitimate champion, even though I wasn't really I didn't know who Hector Luis Garcia was before the fight, but nevertheless, it is what it is. Tank showed himself to be a legit champion. It was an 8-round TKO. And Tank did what to be honest, I'm not gonna sugarcoat it. This shit wasn't really all that. Like, I wanted to see Tank and Ryan Garcia get it on to start the new year, but I guess we're gonna have to wait until April for that to happen. Nevertheless, it is April 15th to be exact. I don't know. That's what Ryan Garcia tweeted after his fight with Hector Luis Garcia. But man, Tank towards the end of the fight was catching a nigga with some damn, like, I want to really rethink my life when I sit on this stool. He was catching him with some of those. And between the 8th and the 9th, Garcia was saying he couldn't see, but what he did see was stars. That's what the fuck he saw. He couldn't see normally, but he could see some stars because he felt those punches for sure. I seen like 2-3 nasty ass punches that I was just like, I don't know, that'll make a nigga really rethink what he got going on. And at the end of the 8th round, when they called the round, he kind of just stood there and was just like, and I could tell his equilibrium was off. He wasn't able to think straight, and then they kind of had to walk him to his corner. And as he was on the stool, he was just like, look, I can't see. And honestly, I'm really happy he told his corner, like, yo, I can't fight no more, because if he would have went back out there, he probably would have got laid on the fucking mat and he got flatlined. Like, and nobody wants to see that. Like, nobody in his family wants to see that. I want to see some shit like that. But I'm more than positive that his family doesn't want to see that. So I'm kind of happy that was what it was, because once Tank settled into the fight and realized, what, I could damn near eat this man's punches, the entire complex of the fight changed. So, but I'm happy that, fortunately for him, he walked away, didn't get hurt, didn't get sustain any massive injuries. Because I'm telling you, man, if he would have came out there again, Tank would have put him on the fucking mat, and that shit would have been, But with that being said, it was a decent fight. I wasn't expecting anything less than Tank. Tank is just that very, very, very heavy hitter. So no matter what's happening in the fight, whether it's boring or if he's up or if he's down or if he just looks like discombobulated or whatever the case may be, and it's funny I don't know why this is the case. Obviously Tank, I don't know why that people associate Tank's Tank's ring IQ with his they try to say he has low ring IQ because they don't like the way he sounds when he reads or when he talks or whatever the case may be. But honestly, as I continue to watch Tank fight over and over again, he's gotten better and better in terms of every aspect of his game. So his ring IQ, that shit is bogus. That shit is bogus. Tank is a good fighter. Tank is a lethal fighter. Tank is a dangerous fighter. A lot of guys don't want to fight Tank. A lot of guys there's only several guys that can fight Tank, and that I honestly think could beat him. And outside of like one or two dudes, like it's not really many people. So I mean, the whole fight IQ and blah blah blah. And if he could knock niggas out, but I can. So I mean, with that being said, I'm really excited to see him fight Ryan Garcia in April. Even though I kind of feel like I already know what's gonna happen. Tank's fought way better fighters than Ryan Garcia and beat them. So I don't think that he's going to. I don't see Ryan Garcia stopping him or beating him. But with that being said, I'm just gonna pivot on to the next topic, which just so happens to be Sunday Night Football. And the last Sunday. Oh no, that's not the last Sunday Night Football. I was gonna say the last Sunday Night Football of the season, last regular season Sunday Night Football of the season, which pitted the Detroit Lions, the D-Town Lions against the Green Bay Packers of Wisconsin. And the Lions, surprisingly, man, they pulled this game out. It was 20-16. And man, oh man, hey man, I had to I'm gonna give credit to where credit is due and praise the Lions, but man, the Packers left food on the plate. They executed poorly on offense. It was so bad. It was so bad. And Green Bay dominated this game specifically in the first half, and then to only go up 3 points in a game and you dominated for the majority of the half at halftime is pretty underwhelming. That's just not it. That's honestly not it. But eventually Detroit found rhythm. They established their ground game. They got things going. Jared Goff was able to make some big plays here and there, and man, the Detroit Lions pulled it out. It's interesting too because Detroit already knew that they weren't going to be able to make the playoffs at the start of the game because Seattle had beat the Rams at home. So essentially, the Lions were only playing to keep the Packers out of the playoffs. They're playing to keep, like, you know what? We can't get in, but we can fuck these niggas' nights up. We can fuck their season up. Oh yeah, y'all won 5 in a row or 4 in a row or whatever the case may be, or what was it? 4 games in a row or something like that, or something along those lines. But yeah, that shit's gonna stop today, and that's exactly what Detroit did. You know what, man? The Lions. I'm not gonna lie. I'm really disappointed that the Lions, because for the Lions to get in, they needed to beat the Packers and they needed the Seahawks to lose. And unfortunately, the Seahawks won. And since they beat the Packers, the Seahawks got to go in. But I personally was really hoping that the Lions would make the playoffs for various reasons, honestly. Because they're one of the hottest teams in the NFL right now, and they're competing. They finished off wait. Did they lose last week? Did they lose last week? Fuck. Did the Lions lose last week? I feel like they did, but no. I think they actually, hold on. Nah, I'm not going to even check this shit. The Lions down the stretch of the season, they won, what? 6 games? 6 games or so? Pretty much just like the Jaguars. The Lions, the Jaguars, and the 49ers might be the hottest teams in the NFL. I mean, the 49ers are very hot. They've won 10 straight. I mean, but one of the reasons why I wanted to see the Lions get into the playoffs, because, just like my Jaguars, the Jaguars picked number 1 in the draft. The Lions picked number 2 in the draft. I think it would have been crazy. I mean, we both finished off with the same record this season. We're both 9-8, except we got into the playoffs because we won our division. Unfortunately for the Lions, the fucking fluky ass Vikings won their division and they made the playoffs. But I think it would have been crazy to see the Jaguars and the Lions make it, because, like I said, we both drafted at the top of last year's draft. And I just think that would have been crazy because I don't know how often that happens. Two terrible teams turning around and make the playoffs. Dan Campbell, man, I honestly, I think he deserves. I was gonna say if they, I called some of the homies yesterday and was talking to them. I called AD, I called D to P, and we're just chopping it up. And I said, I think Doug Peterson should win Coach of the Year, and the only person I can honestly see him getting it over him might be Dan Campbell, because Dan Campbell really turned things around in Detroit, man. But unfortunately, Detroit didn't make the playoffs, so I think it should go to Doug Peterson. I mean, I am also a little biased, but personally, Dan Campbell has big ass balls. For them to go for it on 4th and 1 in that situation and then to get it, amazing. They kept the ball away from the Packers once they got that interception, and Aaron Rodgers never seen the field again. And here goes the fucking media circus of, oh my God, is Aaron Rodgers going to retire? Is he going to request a trade? We're going to do this shit another fucking season in the offseason. And me personally, honestly, if Aaron Rodgers is not going to retire or request a trade, bro, cut the media circus shit out. Cut that shit out, because, man, I'm tired of it, honestly. And, one last thing I'm going to say about the Detroit Lions, man. Same thing I'm gonna say about the Jaguars, man. I hope that this season is like the first of many like this, and they change the culture in Detroit and change the culture in Jacksonville, and they continue to build and continue to win, because, man, both of these franchises, both of their fan bases have suffered for a very long fucking time. A very long fucking time. I want to continue to emphasize very long time, because this shit was a long time of losing, and more fucking losing. Now, to the curious case of Aaron Rodgers. Man, Aaron Rodgers, last 2 seasons in the playoffs, had his season ended at Lambeau. And a couple years ago, everybody was just under the notion, if Aaron Rodgers keeps winning MVPs and, is able to get that second Super Bowl, oh, man, he's going to go down like he's going to go down number 2 next to this guy. Feel me? Because, I mean, Tom Brady's done enough he solidified his number 1. Tom Brady solidified number 1. Nobody can really fuck with him. So I guess number 2 is up for debate between, Peyton, Drew Brees, Joe Montana, Aaron Rodgers, but just unfortunately for Aaron, man, he just wasn't able to get it done, man. And I love Aaron Rodgers. It's really gonna pain me to say this, but man, Aaron Rodgers has some of the worst losses I've ever seen in playoff history. Some of the absolute worst losses I've ever seen in playoff history. The COVID year, the 2021 in January of 2021. When they lost to the Bucs at home, in the NFC Championship, man, against Tom Brady, they were leading and up majority of the game, and Aaron Rodgers left food on the plate in that game. Aaron Rodgers could have ran and scrambled for a touchdown or a first down when they were deep in the Buccaneer, deep in the red zone, deep in the Buccaneers territory. Left food on the plate, man. Left food on the plate. They ended up losing it. They ended up losing the game. And I don't want to specifically blame that Tampa loss specifically just on him. I also think Matt LaFleur deserves some of the blame on that. But honestly, as I said, left food on the plate, left food on the plate, left food on the plate. And that seems to be the consistent thing with Aaron Rodgers these past couple seasons. Against the 49ers last year in the playoffs, oh my God, that was just bad. They scored a touchdown. They scored a touchdown on their very first drive, and weren't able to score again for the rest of the game. And they lost to a heavily underdog Niners team with fucking Jimmy G as the quarterback. And even that game, why they ultimately lost was because of special teams. But you score a touchdown on your first possession, don't score again? And then yesterday, Aaron Rodgers throws 2 interceptions in the fourth quarter. Not 1, but 2. Luckily for him, one of them is called back because the defensive lineman on the Lions was called for illegal use of hands to the face. So they called that back. Even though, honestly, that had absolutely nothing to do with the interception. But the football god said, you know what, run that shit back. Aaron Rodgers blitz, sees pressure, throws the ball, interception, never sees the field again. And to think that Aaron Rodgers lost to Jared Goff, who plays terrible in that when it comes to the elements, Jared Goff, he lost to him at home. Man, honestly, it's really sad to see, but like if Aaron, that's what I'm saying, man. He can't go out like that. He cannot go like you want the last game of your career to be losing to the Detroit Lions. The Detroit Lions, no disrespect, but come on, A-Rod, the Detroit Lions? No. And the front office seriously needs to ask real questions. Is he going to retire or are we going to trade him? I don't think it's a situation where he comes back and because at this point, what's the point? This media circus in the offseason, you're going to pay him a bunch of dollars to what? Not go to the playoffs? You could do that with Jordan Love. I mean, I personally think if Aaron Rodgers wants to come back, Green Bay shouldn't even entertain the idea of him being their quarterback. It's time to move on. I think enough's enough. And I have spoken on the whole situation with, his very, 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 very since they won the Super Bowl, it's just been, oh my God, some of the playoff games that the Green Bay Packers have lost. I mean, not all of them are on him specifically. I know one time, this actually might have been before they went to the Super Bowl, but I remember them losing in overtime to the Arizona Cardinals. He got stripped by Carlos Dansby for a touchdown. I remember another. I think another one. I know the Seattle one wasn't on him. The defense literally fell apart. The one against the 49ers where Colin Kaepernick just ran off. Yeah, the defense just fell apart. A lot of them aren't on him, but the ones towards the end of his career, man, it's really hard. It's really hard. It's really, I want to say really, really hard to argue that, man, some of them aren't on him, man. Him in the offense, man, and he's the court man. But with that being said, I want to pivot to the next thing I want to talk about, which is the playoffs, man. Y'all smell that? Do y'all smell that? The playoffs are fucking here. The playoffs are fucking here. Playoff football, nigga. Let's go. And unlike many years, there's really no clear cutout, this team is going to win the Super Bowl type shit. Because honestly, every team has major question marks going into it, maybe except for the Chiefs. But even the Chiefs, they got a little question mark, whatever the case may be. I'm gonna get into all the teams, and then I'm gonna just wrap this podcast up. The Miami Dolphins, they finished off the season 9-8 after starting off the year 8-3. Down the stretch of the season, they went 1 of fucking 5. The final 6 games, they went 1 of 5. And the only game they won was the fucking game against the Jets. They won the game against the Jets on Sunday. On some crazy shit at that, honestly. I mean, but this is their first return to the playoffs in 6 years. Last time they made the playoffs was 2016. But unfortunately for the Dolphins, they have to play the Bills again. And I mean, they split the regular season series with the Bills, but the win that they got was early in the season. Early in the season when they were actually playing elite football. The Dolphins offense features two elite weapons in Jalen Waddle and Tyreek Hill, but if Tua's not playing, the only way they even have a chance to win if Tua plays. If Tua doesn't play, I mean they're either gonna play Teddy Bridgewater or what's this dude's name? Fucking Skylar Thompson. I mean, yeah, nah, that's not it. I mean, the offense literally has to carry the team because past couple weeks, the defense and the special teams just aren't it. They don't have enough. I mean, and then even the last games that Tua played, when teams are able to take away his timing routes and shit like that, the offense struggled just a bunch. Honestly, the offense struggled a bunch. I personally don't see them beating the Bills, but I mean, hey, it is what it is. It is called any given Sunday. Shit, at this point in the season, any given Sunday, Saturday, or fucking even Monday. So I mean, hey, who knows? The 6th seed, the Baltimore Ravens, finished off the season 10-7. The Ravens, man, on defense, extremely stingy, especially since acquiring Roquan Smith from the Bears in Week 9. The defense has been dominant, and Baltimore clinched the playoff berth with, despite losing to the Bengals in the final game of the season, but Lamar Jackson hasn't played since week 13. He missed the final 5 games of the season, and fortunately for the Ravens, they're getting back Patrick Queen, Marlon Humphrey, and these guys are going to be flying all over the place, making plays. And the Ravens excelled against the run, but I don't know, man. Without Lamar Jackson, I honestly can't. What are they actually going to do? Look, so their offense is struggling. Their offense is actually, I think struggling is a nice way to put it. The Ravens have been the second lowest scoring offense since obviously the first one is the fucking Jets. Since Lamar Jackson injured his knee on December 4th, and even if December 4th, and even if Jackson comes back, like how healthy will he be? Will he be fully healthy? Will he be able to really run the full offense? I don't really know. Honestly, I don't know. And they're playing against a division rival in the Bengals, and I'm not really too sure how that's going to work out. And then their receiving core isn't the sexiest bunch of names either. So I mean, you got DeMarcus Robinson, Deshaun. They don't even have Deshaun Jackson. They just cut that nigga actually, and Sammy Watkins. And I can't really name anybody else on their team, but we'll see how that plays out. Los Angeles Chargers. I'm gonna say this, man. The Los Angeles Chargers, they're peaking at the right time. They're getting healthy at the right time. They got Joey Bosa back. He returned. They're getting Derwin James back. Derwin James is back to playing healthy. But even before they returned, the defense have been taking steps up because they're ranked one of the lowest units in the league with those dudes out. But now that those dudes are coming back, they're not even just those dudes. Keenan Allen, Mike Williams. Even though Mike Williams sustained a back injury, we're gonna see the status of that because they are playing against my team, Jacksonville Jaguars. But I mean, they're getting healthier at the right time, so we'll see what happens. I mean, me personally, I don't think they're gonna do shit. I personally think my Duval Jaguars we're gonna smoke some Charger pack. We are gonna smoke some Charger pack, same way we did earlier this season. But that's just what I think. And I don't know, man. I feel confident because the Chargers, man, even though their offense does put up a lot of yards, whatever the case may be, they have been very inconsistent in the red zone. Very inconsistent in the red zone. Left a lot of food on their plate. When I say a lot, I mean a lot. But hey, Duval. So the 4th seed is the Jacksonville Jaguars. Jacksonville Jaguars finish off the season 9-8, winning their last 5 games in a row to reach the playoffs. They beat the Titans. We beat the Cowboys. We beat the Jets. We beat the Texans, and we beat the Titans again to secure our very first AFC South championship in 5 years. The last time we made last time we won the AFC South was 2017, and we made it to the AFC championship game, and we made a lot of noise that year. And here we are 5 years later. 5 years later, ready to make some noise. And Jacksonville comes into the playoffs as one of the hottest teams. One of the hottest teams in the NFL, not the hottest. The hottest for sure is the San Francisco 49ers. Jacksonville comes into this game with just looking like a very, very complete football team. The offense, even though it hasn't been clicking at its highest cylinder, we know what they look like when they get things going. Even though, I am a little concerned with Trevor Lawrence. His past 2 performances, he left a lot of food on his plate, especially against the Titans. He didn't really play too well. But nevertheless, the offense hasn't been at its strongest, but the past 2 weeks, the defense has stepped up. The special teams has stepped up. And the Jacksonville Jaguars are that dark horse. I definitely feel like we're going to beat the Chargers. And I definitely feel like if we can beat any team that isn't the Kansas City Chiefs, I honestly feel like they'll beat the Buffalo Bills if we stack up against them as well. And I think the Jaguars can do what they did again in 2018 playoffs and make the AFC Championship, honestly. And, that's going to sound crazy because I'm a fan or whatever the case may be, but it's just in my heart of hearts what I believe. The Jacksonville Jaguars can compete with any football team, and they showed me this over the course of the season. Our 8 losses, two of them were double-digit losses, one to the Kansas City Chiefs and one to the Detroit Lions. The rest, one-score games. Against the Commanders, one-score loss. Against the Eagles, one-score loss. Against the Texans, one-score loss. Against the Giants, one-score loss. Against the Broncos, one-score loss. All of our losses except for 2 were one-score losses. The 3 seed, the Cincinnati Bengals. Man, the Bengals come into this postseason 12-4. Cincinnati is playing better than they even did last season, honestly. And the Bengals won the AFC North and reached the Super Bowl last year for the first time in 33 years. Joe Burrow's playing at an elite level, a very elite level. The offense displayed a lot this season, improved efficiency in terms of efficiency throughout the season. And they've been able to score a lot of points in a lot of different ways. Overall, the Bengals are in just a much stronger position this year than they were last year. Like, it wouldn't surprise me if the Bengals made it to the Super Bowl this year. I would surprise me if they made it to the Super Bowl last year. Even though the Bengals the past couple of weeks haven't strung together 2 strong halves on offense. In week 15, they put up 3 second-half points, 0 second-half points. In week 16, against the Ravens, 3 second-half points. The offensive line woes kind of continue. Alex Kappa suffered a left ankle injury in week 18, and La'el Collins is still out for the rest of the season with a torn ACL, and he was their big free agent acquisition this offseason. So the only thing that really concerns me about the Bengals is their offensive line as they continue to face better defenses and stronger units. How will that line be able to hold up in terms of protecting Joe Burrow and giving him the time that he needs to get the ball out to T. Higgins and Jamar Chase and Tyler Boyd, and how are they going to hold up in the run department when they're feeding the ball to Joe Mixon and whatever case may be. Other than that, the Bengals will be a tough out, even though I feel like my Jaguars can beat them. The Buffalo Bills, man, the Buffalo Bills come into this thing into the AFC playoffs as a 2 seed, finish off the season 13-3. Josh Allen, when he's playing at his best, the Bills are very, 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 very hard to beat. In his last two playoff games, he threw 9 touchdown passes, 0 interceptions, and 600 yards. At times this season, Josh Allen has struggled with turnovers, but if Josh Allen is playing with his A game and playing like the MVP level player he is, this team is hard to beat, simply put. The only question mark I have is Josh Allen's inconsistencies, because he had games that He threw multiple interceptions. He had 5 games where he threw 2 interceptions. They almost cost them. They almost cost them. They won some of those games too, but hey. And the Kansas City Chiefs, man. The Kansas City Chiefs, what can I say? Another year where they're the number 1 seed. Another year. Andy Reid has built a fucking dynasty over there. Another year where they're the number 1 fucking seed. Another year. The only question mark I have, because this team is so complete, they have the best quarterback in the league. They have the best tight end in the league. They have one of the premier defensive players in the league. They're just a very, very complete team, honestly. And this is without Tyreek Hill, still number 1 seed, still doing the damn thing, still whooping ass, still the number 1 seed, Patrick Mahomes still throwing for 5,000. So, I mean, honestly, the only question I have on in terms of the Chiefs is they have the worst kicking game in the league. The worst. They missed the most field goals, the most PATs. They forfeited 29 points to their opponents because of that. I mean, and that could really come back to bite them in the ass in the playoffs. Now, to the NFC. The Seahawks. The Seahawks come into the playoffs 9-8, and unfortunately for them, the Seahawks season reminds us what happens when that in the NFL anything can happen. Honestly, anything can happen. Who would have thought that a year after trading away their franchise quarterback, they're here in the playoffs now? And in the end, they started off the season 6-3. Seahawks started off the season 6-3. Right there with the Niners. Started off the season 6-3. Towards the end of the season, they ended up going 3-5. But I mean, hey, John Schneider, Pete Carroll, they turned this shit around. Who would have thought? Who would have thought? Fortunately for me, I don't see them making, a deep playoff run. Like, for a lot of reasons. I mean, the defense is really a liability. They have kind of like lost a lot of momentum during moving down the stretch of the season. Jordan Brooks is out with the season-ending injury. Brian Moon. I mean, I just don't. And they're playing the Niners. I don't see them being able to. No. I'm just being realistic. I don't see that being realistic. The New York Giants, they come into the NFC playoffs as the 6th seed, with a record of 9-7-1. I don't believe in them either. Honestly, they had a renaissance turnaround season. I think they for sure overachieved, but I don't trust Daniel Jones as the quarterback. I don't think he's that guy. I mean, they're getting healthy. They're getting Adoree Jackson back, and they're getting safety Xavier McKinney back. But I mean, realistically, the Giants only have 1 win against a team that entered week 18 with a winning record, and I want to say that was us. Honestly. Other than that, I don't remember. I can't remember off the top of my head any of the team. Oh, no. That's a lie. It was actually against Baltimore. We didn't enter week 18 with the winning season. We entered week 18 at 800, at 500, and then once we won our game, we then got a winning record. But yeah, I don't really think this team is for real. Part of why I don't think this team is for real is they finished off the season with a minus point differential, -6. What does that tell you? When they lost bad. When they won, they barely won. The Dallas Cowboys are entered the NFC playoffs at 12-5 and as the 5th seed and the highest wildcard seed. The Cowboys are a fucking joke. They lost to the fucking Commanders. They're a fucking joke. The Cowboys are a fucking joke. The Cowboys aren't doing anything. The Cowboys probably won't even beat the Buccaneers. Honestly, they probably won't even beat the Bucs. Honestly, the Cowboys are a fucking joke. Fuck the Cowboys. Fuck the Cowboys. Fuck the Cowboys. They're a fucking joke. A joke. I don't know how every single year this notion that they're going to win the Super Bowl or make noise in the playoffs. No. Fuck no. You just what? The Cowboys could have listen to this. The Eagles barely beat who did they play? Who the fuck did the Eagles play? Fuck, who did the Eagles play? I think it might have been the Giants. I think the Eagles played the Giants. The Eagles barely win whoever the Eagle. Yeah, it was the Giants. Actually, it was the Giants. So the Eagles barely beat the Giants, right? For the Cowboys to get the number 1 seed, they would have needed the Eagles to lose, the Niners to lose, and for them to win because they beat the Vikings. They didn't even go. They didn't even go out and handle their own business. They fucking lost it. Clown ass team. This team is a fucking joke. Every single year. I tell people this all the time. I'd rather my team be consistently terrible than give me false hope every single year the way the Cowboys do it. The Cowboys are experts in choking and failure. For the last since the mid-90s, the Cowboys have been living on their fucking knees sucking dick. This team is a fucking joke. The Cowboys are fucking the Buccaneers, they come in as the 4 seed with a losing record, 8-9. I don't really care for this team. Neither do I want to talk about them. Neither are they worth talking about. The Minnesota Vikings come in as the 3 seed with a 13-4 record. The Vikings have won all of their games this season that were decided by a 1-score game, which is the NFL record, which will never happen again. And I don't think many people really understand. Like, man, please. Next year when the Vikings take a step back, don't be surprised. Because a lot of they won 11 games that were decided by 1 score. Most teams typically go 500 in games decided by 1-score games. But the fact that the Vikings were able to win 11 of them, 11, they won double-digit games decided by 1 score. You know how crazy that sounds? And they're doing all this. They're doing all this to not even make it to the NFC Championship. But hey, what do I know? The San Francisco 49ers, man, these niggas is dogs. These niggas is dogs. The Niners are the hottest team in the NFL right now. 10 straight. It didn't matter with 3 different quarterbacks. That's the crazy thing. They won 10 straight games. This defense is the top of every single defensive metric that matters. They're top. They're in the top 5. They got Christian McCaffrey. The offense has been rolling. The special teams also made great strides, man. This is a very, very complete team. This team is better than last year. They whooped on every fucking body. Everybody. Check the record for teams. Check the record for teams after the week after they play the 49ers. All of them lose. Why? The 49ers beat the fuck up on them. 49ers be out there smacking shit, laying wood. The only question mark on the 49ers right now is Brock Purdy. How is he going to react in high pressure, high volume situations? Other than that, man, and if he responds well, 49ers are going to Super Bowl. 49ers, if he responds well, can't no team in the NFC beat the 49ers. That's on soul. That's on soul. Can't no team in the NFL. In the NFL, actually, in the NFL and NFC, can't no team in the NFL and NFC beat the 49ers. No. If Brock Purdy is on his shit, no, it's not happening. And last but not least, the Philadelphia Eagles, who stumbled into the postseason with a record of 14-3, losing the last 2 of their 3 games to end the season. They won the last one, but they lost the last 2 because, they didn't have their quarterback, Jalen Hurts. Typically in January, you want to be playing your best football and you're at your healthiest. Unfortunately for the Eagles, that's not their situation. Jalen Hurts just came back from a shoulder injury. And honestly, this team has some serious injuries to really, really key figures in their team with Lane Johnson, abdominal tear, and Avonte Maddox. Hopefully they get both those guys back. If they do, they can easily go to the Super Bowl as well. Honestly, I mean, NFC Championship should be the Niners and the Eagles. And I mean, that's honestly a toss up. It all will really depend on the way Brock Purdy plays. But I mean, oh man, it's gonna be really fun. I love this time of the year. I feel like a young nigga at the fucking smoke shop when I feel like when playoff football comes around, I feel like a young nigga at the weed shop when I walk in. It smells like fucking football. Let's go. With that being said, my name is Michael DeLu. This is the episode 113 of PullUpDaTape. Like, comment, subscribe, holla at me. I'm out this bitch. Yes, sir!